Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Fandalorian Club from Apocalypse Movies. This is our all-Star Wars review show where we are breaking down TV shows, movies, comics. Who knows what it would be in the future? But for now, we are going to be covering the Clone Wars, and we are on Episode 3 on the wings, of Keeradaks. That is the name of the episode. Episode 3 of Season 7, the final season for the Clone Wars. I'm your host, Jake Pillin, a.k.a. Qui-Gon Jake. And today, I have Mr. Grand Admiral Sino himself, Brian Ablesino, and Admiral Akbar is making his first official appearance back on Season 2 of the Fandalorian Club. How are you doing, man?
Good.
Yeah?
Very good.
You were on during Mandalorian.
He was on one of the last episodes.
The finale, right?
I think the finale of Mandalorian, yeah. Because I think Jacob might have been out of town.
Yeah.
Jacob's in the background.
Yeah, he's our audience member today. So Episode 3 of the Clone Wars. If you have not followed or joined us before, a little breakdown on how it goes. It's very simple. Break down the episode with full spoilers, get into some of our favorite parts, favorite moments, kind of things we see going in the future. This episode in particular may not be very canon heavy, as we call it. There's not a whole lot that goes on compared to the previous two episodes. But who knows, something may come up in our conversation. So we're going to start this off with just a little bit of initial reaction to the episode. Brian, when you start us off, man, shortest episode so far this season. What did you think of On the Wings of the Keeradaks?
This is my favorite episode.
Really?
Mm-hmm. I loved that it was just a good old-fashioned fight scene. Dogfight, whatever you want to call it. It was true Star Wars to me, where it's like people want to stay neutral. The trouble comes, you make a choice between standing up for something or cowering and just whatever, and you obviously pick the right one. And I really enjoyed it. I would have bet money that one of the Bad Batch would have died this episode. While I was watching it, I was waiting for it. I was waiting for one of them to bite it, and if I would have put money, it would have been on
the glasses one.
No, the muscles.
Oh, big guy.
There was a couple times when I was like, he's going out, but when that the detonator or whatever, that droid went in, and I thought he was gone there. I thought he was gone when he fell. When they were walking thing. Yeah. I thought he was gone when the walker went to stomp him. So this whole entire time I was like, this is it. Didn't happen. This is it. Still didn't happen. This is it. Still didn't happen. But I loved this episode. I like the native species too.
Yeah,
What does that sound like they talk?
Never seen them.
No, we've never seen them.
Yeah. I'm convinced that it's someone talking like this, and they're just going. They just are rewinding, playing backwards.
Yeah, maybe.
That's how they're talking. But yeah, I liked it a lot. This, like I said, was my favorite one.
Keith, what'd you think, man?
Yeah, it was pretty cool. It looked. I don't mean this negatively, but I mean it looked like every episode of Clone Wars.
Yeah.
That just like you said, just thing. Okay, they're in a situation. All right, fights. Droids, shoot them, hit him with the lightsaber, get out of it, get away briefly, then more droids, and then but it was cool though. I don't mean that in it, like I said. I've never seen the flying one. Have you seen them flying?
No, that's new.
Yeah,
so we talked about it last week, but they're not part of the basic droid army that we know.
Yeah, right.
They're part of the Techno Union.
Yeah,
what they're called.
Yeah.
So they're different manufactured droids.
I love the Techno Union.
They're like real thin.
Yeah.
And they look like? You know the little thing in the first Transformers, the little...
Dude, you're so right.
It turned into a little radio.
Yeah, you're so right.
That's what they remind me of.
Yeah. Good call.
To me, they remind me kind of like velociraptors, how they have like that.
Yeah, right.
Like
sure.
that kind of body structure.
But easily, you can just... Anakin just cut them all.
And now they fly. So.
Yeah, right. So, but... no, that's cool, but you might be right. One of those guys is surely going to die.
I was waiting for it this episode.
Yeah.
Someone, either Echo or someone. I was like, someone's biting it in this episode, but no good.
So what Keith just said about it being a normal Clone Wars episode where, action happens, they get away, kind of happens at the end. That's exactly why I kind of disliked the episode. It is my least favorite so far of the season, and the biggest reason why is because there was not an emotional attachment like there was the first two episodes. I didn't feel like there was anything emotional going on between these characters like there was the first 2 episodes, mainly between Rex and Echo,
Right.
or the Bad Batch characters, even like the struggle between them all. It didn't feel like there was anything there. It just felt like it was, like he said, a classic episode of clones and their general going out on a mission. And I don't mind that, but this season has promised so much at this point, and it's so short, it almost felt like a filler episode to something that's going to happen, because the last half second of the episode teased what's coming. Why not just do that to begin with, or like do half of it through the half episode rather than kind of like giving us just an episode that's fully action? And that plays into the fact that the episode is only 20 minutes long, like, or even it might have been like 17 minutes long or something after you take out the credits. Not that it felt rushed or anything, but I just felt like they could have told this story in a different way while also keeping that emotional attachment involved with these characters and keeping the storyline kind of on this thin piece of road rather than kind of doing this a little bit and then coming back in on the next episode. And so, not that I didn't like it, because there's some incredible moments in this episode. Mainly the stuff with the Walker about, first of all, how Anakin takes the first Walker down is just like peak Anakin Skywalker, dude. It's like, this is like the Anakin Skywalker I want to see in live action.
Whoa.
Like, this is the dude. And then when he jumps backward and pushes it in midair, I'm like, are you kidding me right now? Like, this is peak Anakin Skywalker.
What even I forget which one it was, said to him like, "You're going to show off," or
something like Echo.
that.
He goes, no, he said, still showing off, right, General?
Yeah.
And he's like, and he jumps down on the Walker, and then it leads to a cool comedy bit between the Bad Batch, and he's like, oh, we're going to do that now, and just he throws them both up there, and they do their thing. But yeah, it's just, I don't know. I just feel like it was so focused on like the action part of it, and maybe it was just an episode to try and get out of the Techno Union storyline, which is fine. But again, you probably could have done that quickly rather than doing a whole episode, or make the episode 25 minutes and add an extra 10 where that Echo storyline kind of folds into a little bit more. Because now I'm just like, well, what's the point of that episode?
You could have added. They could have cut this in half and added it to the first 2 episodes.
Exactly. Exactly. My point. You could have added this to the previous episode.
So,
You could, because the previous episode ended with them holding Echo.
Right.
You could have easily ended with them leaving the building in the episode and then going to something where Echo turns in the next episode or something.
Yeah.
But I guess they're just trying to stretch it. It just, not that it felt like a filler, but it's the most filler that I felt so far out of the 3.
I think I agree. I get what you're saying. I think this kind of like, honestly, they use this a little bit to show off like how amazing their production is with it, like as far as how it looks.
That's fine, but I got that the first 2 episodes, and there's only 12 this season. I don't need that.
Well, I personally, I loved the dialogue they had, and just I really enjoyed this one a lot more.
I'm not saying that I didn't like it at all, because I did, but I guess it's based on my expectations shifting a little bit, because there's been such, like, we talked about it in the first 2, there's been such like an emotional draw with these characters and how they're bringing Echo back into the fold, and the Rex and Anakin thing with the Obi-Wan and Padme. Like, there's just been so many emotional pieces that have kind of been like coming together, and then it kind of just like stepped away for an episode. I'm like, continue that, because they're doing 4 episode arcs. What's going to happen after this next episode? Is the Bad Batch and all the storyline just going to go away? Like, I want everything I possibly can out of these characters emotionally, rather than just seeing cool action beats on screen. That's how I see it. And so to me, it was just a little bit of a letdown, because like that moment of them finding Echo was like emotional. Like, Rex is like, dude, like, you're like screwed up. Like, are you still there? And it happened in the first 5 seconds of the episode, but after that, it just became straight action.
Right.
And I'm like,
yeah, I could.
And then all of a sudden, Echo was back into the fold of action again. That kind of bothered me as well.
That was a little odd to me.
Did he actually do anything?
He was shooting his gun and stuff, dude. He was full on into action. I'm kind of thinking to myself, like, this guy's been in stasis for at least 5 years.
Right.
Like, at least 5 years. There's no way he's able to just do that right away. And he looks like he's skin and bones anyway.
Yeah.
So that kind of tweaked me a little bit too. And that kind of feeds into the whole rushing filler thing. They're trying to, like, move everything forward.
You really did not like this episode.
I like the action, but I want more, because we only have 12 episodes. We only have 12 episodes, and they're in 4 episode pieces.
Right.
We have one more of the Bad Batch. one more, and it felt like this one was just unnecessary.
Well, like you said, just get to the point of whatever this is. Don't drag out because we know, okay, the action is going to be there. Like, we know they got to shoot their way out of a thing and shoot some droids and whatever. Get a little bit more of Echo. What do you remember what's been happening this whole time? And if he can tell any of that. And like you said, they rushed immediately straight to, all right, he remembers everybody. And he's shooting stuff again.
Mm-hmm.
He's like,
and then he's going to turn back bad again, and he's going to become a bad guy.
Yeah.
He's going to turn or work for the Techno Union on the side or something. That's and it's essentially like Echo was never even there, basically, because he's more than likely going to die in the next episode. More than likely going to die in the next
or the
episode.
one after, one of the next two at least.
Yeah. So, and if they, I don't know how they're going to do the arcs. Like if it's just like 4-episode story, we're moving on to the next one. We're moving on to the next one. But if that's how they're doing it, that means we have Echo for one more episode. And
potentially even just the Bad Batch in general.
And that's a bummer because I don't want to remember them as just this cool action team. Like I want to remember like their personalities and like what they're like, why they're so different. If they're just an elite ARC Trooper group, we get those within the Clone Wars series. Like we have those already with the clones. I want them to be so different from everything else. Like they make a huge impact on me, and they did in the first two. And don't get me wrong, the action, like the way the bullet ricocheted and stuff, was like really cool. Yeah. But I want to remember them more for more than just that reason, personally.
Yeah, I agree. I could definitely agree with that. And definitely explain, like you said, what are they? How do they make these guys like this? Because you get a big one, you get the super nerdy one. They all kind of sort of look different. Yeah, I can't believe they would just go away and not explain at all how. And
maybe they're leaving it open for something down the road, like a Bad Batch series, or maybe they try to right their wrongs with the Clone Wars movie and do a Bad Batch movie. Who knows?
Shocked if they don't put them in some type of comic book.
But yeah. So, but let's go ahead and move on from the discussion portion and move on to what we think is going to happen next. What we think that we could see in the next episode, because it is the final of the Bad Batch arc for season 7. Brad, I'll shoot it right back to you, man. The ending of the episode, where we see the characters going, who do you see dying possibly? What do you think?
I honestly think Echo might end up killing the Bad Batch, and Rex is the only one left. I don't know why. I have a feeling somehow like his chip is gonna like play a factor into it.
Like maybe it goes off early?
Something. Like the Techno Union did something. But I don't know. Something is going to happen, I think, between Echo and the Bad Batch.
Well, that kind of is a little bit tied to mine as well, because we need an answer as to why the Bad Batch isn't ever seen outside of this. Like, what happened to them? Do they disappear? Were they killed? Something along that line. Right. I do think that it probably has to do with Echo, but I hope that whatever does happen as far as him being bad again, or if it does have to do with the chip, it plays into Order 66. Like, I hope that's what it plays into.
That's what I think it will.
Because we know that this season, and it's from what it's sounding like most of the season is going to overlap episode 3, and these episodes are going to have to play into that somehow, some way. And if this is kind of like the start of it, that's kind of what I hope to see. And I think that, unfortunately, like, as much as I love the character, I do think that the Rex is going to have to, his story is going to have to end on an extremely bad note. An extremely bad note.
Oh, I think he'll be the one that kills Echo.
So do I, but I think that something else is probably going to happen as well, and I don't know what that is, but he's going to be left in a very, like, a giant puddle of tragedy, and it's going to suck to see for him, but we know that it comes out on a stronger side, obviously, but so I think the next episode's probably going to be the emotional tug that I'm hoping for. I really do, because we've come to know and love these characters of the Bad Batch, and I think that because we don't know where they are, something's either going to happen to them, or they're just going to go off the grid and come back later on in some capacity or something.
Yeah, they could go off the grid. Maybe their chips didn't work.
Well, they figured out how to. Remember, Rebels? They said they figured out.
The Bad Batch did.
Oh, the Bad Batch. No,
well, what if those troopers never even had chips?
Didn't have them
because they were deformed.
Yeah.
What if that's even a possibility? Yeah. I doubt that's the case because Palpatine is so just like hands and everything, but it very well could be the case.
Yeah.
So, or maybe Tech discovered him a long time ago.
Yeah.
So freaking smart. So.
Yeah.
Keith, what do you think, man?
Yeah, maybe
That's true. Tech probably could figure that out.
he kills them or one of them. It makes more sense. It would be Rex, I guess, but maybe they have to kill him or something, or and for everything they don't get shut down or whatever happens. Something between the Bad Batch and the rest of the clones, like whatever their squadron's called. But I think that's definitely clearly where it's going. I mean, certainly you get the little. He didn't quite make the evil smirk necessarily.
It was like his facial
enough,
expression just went more serious.
Right.
Like there's that serious
They
look.
went in on his eyes.
Yes.
His eyes were just
certainly.
like,
Yeah. So, yes, clearly something's coming with him. So it's going to be bad. Whatever you said, like you said, certainly with Rex, it's going to end on certainly a rough note. Because when we pick him up in Rebels, he's certainly been through with him and 3 others, I think.
It was 2 others.
Two others, okay.
Yeah.
And I kind of want to go back and watch those again and
Yeah.
see if there's anything sort of maybe
Season 2.
Well, season 2, yeah. See if there's anything he mentioned or tell him about kind of what
Said
happened.
something.
Might kind of sort of hint a little bit to what's happened here.
yeah.
Because he's certainly definitely more worse for wear by the time that comes around. So
Yeah, definitely.
I hope. Well, I guess I don't hope, but I think that that episode 4 will probably take them back to their Rebel base, because we saw that base in Rebels. It was abandoned in Rebels, obviously. I have a feeling that Echo's probably going to lead the Techno Union there, and then it's going to everything's going to go crazy, and maybe we'll get some answers there. But I definitely feel like the next episode is probably going to be more on our guys losing rather than the other guys losing. So
Yeah, probably.
do you guys want to see them get off this world for the next episode?
yes, definitely.
That's
Definitely.
kinda how I feel, too.
I'm the same way with you. I want let's get to the stuff. Let's get to the. I want to get to let's get to Mason, Obi-Wan, and let's see what's going on in the
Ahsoka.
conflict. Ahsoka.
Well, she's the next arc. She has the next four episode arc.
I think
so.
she's going to
Yeah,
be
so-
through the end.
Well, no, to an extent, because she disappears to an extent. But she's heavy in the next 4 or the next 4 after this next one. So
Did we see? I don't recall the trailers, but did they confront each other again? Did they see? Did you see Anakin again, or?
yes, in a hologram,
Yeah.
and
Okay.
they are going to see each other in
Oh, no.
person because
Really?
Anakin gives her a pair of lightsabers because she gave up her
right.
lightsabers.
Yep.
And the next episode is when we get the Ahsoka clone brigade, I guess you can call them. The troopers with her her headpiece painted on them.
Yeah.
And then the last 4 episodes is the Siege of Mandalore, and
Yeah.
she's with Bo-Katan on Mandalore, and obviously Anakin and Obi-Wan are doing their stuff from episode 3, and so it kind of intertwines.
Right.
God, that ending.
Yeah, let's get to
Yeah,
that.
crazy.
that's
That's
what I'm talking about. I want to get to that stuff. I love this stuff, and it plays into it, obviously.
Yeah.
But this one just felt like it was kind of just like a little tiny bit of a step back compared to the first 2, because we were slowly getting answers in the first 2, but this one was kind of just like, it's like it was just like
Dragging a
sitting
little
in
more.
stall a little bit before we move forward a little bit.
Order 66 starts happening during the Siege of Mandalore. I'm going to lose.
Oh, it 100% is.
I know. but
100% is.
That part is just, oh, God. It's going to be heartbreaking.
It's gonna be fun.
Yeah.
Cool. All right, guys. Well, any final thoughts before we get out of here, Fandalorian?
No?
It's looking good, man. Like I said, I gotta watch those 20 essential.
The 27 Disney Plus,
I gotta watch those to get fully caught up.
Such a
with,
smart move of them.
It
Such a
is.
smart
It's
move.
perfect. Yeah, I can't wait to do that. My kids are. My son Kevin. I told you all about his games, Clone Wars. He's loving it. He's.
And they're such short episodes
Yeah.
too. Like you can just
They're
blaze
quick.
banging right through it.
them.
Yeah, it's cool. So yeah, I'm enjoying it.
Cool.
Good.
All right. Well, there it is, guys. This week's episode
Show
of
off your shirt.
Mandalorian. Oh yeah. So, quick note: we have merch now on Apocalypse
You
Movies.
got to show the whole con.
And this is our custom. It's the image you see above Brian and Keith.
Yeah.
Up there on a shirt. It's the Ahsoka Fandalorian Club one. All of our show logos are up on tpublic.com/user/Apocalypse Movies. So that means you get Apocalypse Now, Apocalypse Movies, Padawan Podcast, Casting Table, Nerd Nation. And there's even a special edition one that we did from Apocalypse Now that I put up on there that should be a fun t-shirt to wear as well. But support the Fandalorian Club.
Yes.
Support the Fandalorian Club. So, for Keith, for Brian, for myself, this is the Fandalorian Club for this week, episode 3. of the Clone Wars Season 7. Make sure you join us every single Friday or Saturday, depending on where it is. More than likely Saturday mornings because we shoot Apocalypse Now on Friday night. And so that's when you'll see it. You can also find us on audio, so Apple, Anchor, Spotify, Google, anywhere you find your podcast, you can find us there. Twitter, Instagram as well, and of course, as always, YouTube. So check us out there. We thank you guys for joining us as always. May the Force be with you, and we'll see you next week.